Okay, so I knew Shyloh was the one. We hadn't even met yet. She was having some trust issues. And I found myself not minding going through incredible lengths to reassure her. I knew that I loved her then. I wanted her to understand that she was different for me, and that I wanted to be different for her, and that I wanted this to be something that was not just another thing. And I told her I loved her. She didn't say it back, but I told her I loved her.
Well, you gotta make me seem like a jerk.
She didn't. But at that time, I didn't care. I knew I loved her. And I said it. And I meant it. And I kept saying it. And I kept saying it.
Yeah, he said, "Let me love you." That was how you first said it. And then you said you loved me. Well, it's different because I knew that I loved you earlier in the relationship. I knew that he was the one, like, that I wanted to be with forever, that I wanted to marry when he came here for the first time. I could be myself with him. And I don't think I've ever been able to say that in any relationship that I've been in. The fact that I can be stupid in front of him, I could dance in front of him, I could laugh my 18,000 different laughs in front of him, I can snort, I can pass gas. I can't do that yet, but it's coming.
Whatever.
It's gonna be a special day when that I don't want to fart in front of him. I think that's gross. That's just one of those things that, whatever. Tangent. Yeah, I want children, which is really funny because I used to despise children. I'm not proud of that, but it was just because I was young and I didn't have the patience, and I was a kid myself. So who as a child wants to have a child? I'll put it that way. Am I boring you?
No.
Okay. Even now, like, when I see babies, I'm always like, oh, baby. You know, but I don't have like a burning desire right now or anything like that. But I want a puppy. I feel like that's good practice.
I would love more children, and I do have one son, but I would love more children, especially with you.
We want to have kids one day.
Yeah.
We try to. I think we do.
Yeah. We don't at first, because we're passionate about where we stand with stuff.
Very passionate.
And she's very strong-willed. And it really helps our communication that we're that way, because then we have to sit here and we have to talk this out until one of us understands where the other one's coming from. Because
even if we don't feel like it.
Yeah.
Because honestly, deep discussions and like disagreements and like little riffs that we have, they wear me out. I'll be ready to go to bed and he'll be like, nope. No. We're gonna talk about this.
I've never told you not to go to bed.
Bae.
I've woken you up.
I don't even want to talk about that.
She let me have it too. She let me have it. She wasn't even playing on it. She let me have it. Full throttle. All the air in her lungs. We don't always love each other at first, but it's just getting each other to understand, like, but this is where I'm at, you know, does it make sense? No, it doesn't make sense.
Right.
You know, if she doesn't understand it, it's just a waste of breath for me.
It's like talking
and
to
then,
a brick wall.
yeah, and then I you know,
But I'll oftentimes say, can you explain that in a different way?
Yeah.
So that I can understand it.
Yeah.
Or vice versa.
Yeah.
Like, I'll say something and he'll just be like, what are you saying?
Right.
And so I'll be like, okay, let me try to explain it in a different way. Like, we literally do that.
We go back and forth with it too.
We'll go for hours. We'll go for hours.
Yeah.
You know, at the end of the conversation, then it'll be like, I love you.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, so I mean, at the end, we do love each other.
It might take half a day.
It felt great. Yeah, it felt great that
it is a relief.
She was like, I get that.
Mm-hmm.
That makes total sense to me. And I was so surprised that I was able to explain something so that she would understand it. Yeah. By the time when she said that makes perfect sense, I was like, yeah.
Really?
That is a very good question. I don't think it's so much as something that we did as much as what we went through.
Right. I failed a lot.
Both of us did.
That helped me prepare for this.
Yeah, I went through a bunch of crap.
Because I wanted to pick my relationship. I wanted to be with a certain person who looked a certain way, who acted a certain way, who lived a certain, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't want no man in church. I didn't. But then I grew. I grew up. I grew up.
You see there?
Because I just thought that like our relationship would be fake. And I just felt like it would just be like, oh God. Oh God. And it was just like, who does that? Like, you know, you see different preachers and stuff in church and like them and their wives just seem so like military almost. And it's just like, do you have fun? Like, what do you do? You know what I mean? So yeah, I mean in my younger days. You know, I wanted to handpick my relationship. And then when I stopped handpicking is when he came. And it was just like, oh my gosh, this is great. And I used to literally, like, I used to pray to God and be like, God, I want a man like this. Instead of just like looking at a man's outer appearance and judging who I wanted to be with as far as like, oh, his shoes are clean, I want to be with him. I think that is the dumbest thing ever. If you have like this certain man in your mind that like you want to pick, you can't hand pick. No, you have to seek God for your mate. And like God knows what we need in a mate. He knows how to match you up with whoever you need to be with. And so that's kind of how I prepared.
For me, I was done. I had just a little while before we got together, I had just gotten out of a verbally abusive relationship on both ends because I just was tired and I was done. Basically, I figured I'd just be by myself. So when she came along and began undoing the damage that was done to me, but I'll go through all that over again just to come back to this relationship because she makes everything I went through like just worth it all. And so everything I went through is what the preparation was, what preparation it was. I didn't do a specific thing to like make way for her. I ain't gonna lie, I prayed for her.
Babe.
Yeah, I'm gonna just say it.
It's scaring me.
I ain't gonna lie, like I prayed for a woman to look like this. That's what I wanted. I got tired of settling, and that's what it was. Like my self-esteem was kind of so jacked that, you know, I just settled for whoever gave me some attention. But I prayed and I was like, God, you know, I believe that I can have a beautiful woman with the skin complexion that I like and the body shape that I like and the face that I like and the personality. I believe I can ask you for that. How I asked God for her was, God, give me someone that I will continually desire to be with, and that I will continually want all the time, and that I can just never get tired of. And he did it. And I don't never get tired of her. I don't get tired of looking at her. I don't get tired of talking to her. I don't get tired of hugging her. I don't get tired of laughing with her. I don't get tired of joking with her. I don't get tired of discussing things with her. She's my best friend. And I never had that. Like I always said, I never had a woman who's like, just, you can tell me anything. You know, and she's been that. Next question. Well, they should both be Christian. That'd probably be your foundation there. What you want to do is you want to make sure that you both love God more than you love each other.
Yeah.
That you have to.
Yeah.
You can't. just be so over enamored with each other that you become each other's gods, because then it's no longer a Christian relationship. And you guys both end up doing something or compromising your stand, or you end up doing something that oh boy.
Because I feel like in doing that, you'll hear from God concerning your relationship, and then you'll know how to treat it.
Yeah.
And what to do in it, and what not to do in it.
Yeah. Because every relationship is different. And then you'll learn how to not let people dictate to you how to operate in the relationship. When you're hearing what both of you guys have God's seal of approval and God's grace in the relationship. You don't have to worry about, outside influences dropping seeds, telling you how to dictate your relational operations. When, hey, this is Christian based. It's not something we're just doing just to do. We're not, just listening to each other and not hearing God. And it's like we're both praying together, we're seeking God together, and we both want to do the right thing. And that's how you develop a certain security of being with that person no matter what happens. Because both of us, we both depend on God. And so it's not going to be one of those relationships where one is trying to carry the other spiritually and trying to change the other spiritually,
right,
and trying to get them to believe a certain way and get them to do a certain thing. Like, you both have to be. I believe that's what the Bible also meant when it said, "How can two walk together except they be agreed?" It wasn't just talking about somebody being saved and unsaved. It was also talking about literally, how can two walk together except they be agreed, which means that you want to both make sure that you all are communicating about the spiritual headspace that you all are in. There's been times when me and her haven't been in the same spiritual headspace. She's been in one place and I've been like, I ain't there right now. Like, we've been able to communicate that with each other, and we've both been able to sharpen iron with each other and get each other and balance each other out too.